All right guys, day 5, road to throw and fuel. Just finished up my prep work, so real quick, I'm gonna go through one set of med ball stuff for the camera, just so you guys can see that I'm doing it. And then we'll move on to some throwing. So, first off, we have medicine ball, wood chop to pitching. Basically, it's a shot put, but with that pitching emphasis, I'm going to emphasize, instead of rotating through my finish and staying in posture, I'm actually going to finish it like I'm throwing a pitch. I'm sure as you guys can see, we also have Dexter the guard dog out today. Big focus for me right now as we've gone through everything so far this week, and I've kind of take a look at some of the videos, is really trying to allow my hips to rotate, get to that position where I'm staying in my hinge long enough and rotating before I allow the top half to go. Okay. Next set will be a step back to pitching. Okay, for our last medicine ball exercise, we're gonna do a step behind to pitching. So just doing a traditional step behind, otherwise known as, a really slow shuffle basically. And then going to finish it like I'm pitching. All right, that concludes the dominant sided med ball work. We'll move on to some non-dominant med ball work, but we'll keep that off camera to save your eyeballs. All right, just finished up with the med ball work, got the pull sensor on, so now we're gonna start throwing. Goal today is a 1-day workload of a 4.0. We are gonna get through our arm action drills with some less reps today, because I do wanna focus on getting to some of those more rotational movements where arm speed is a little bit higher. We're gonna get workload a lot faster with those. But overall, we're gonna try and keep arm speed below 950 and see where things go today. All right, that's 5. We're gonna move on to a square throw. All right, 10 throws in. We're at a 0.3 1-day workload. 363 average arm speed, average elbow torque spin between 8 and 10. So we're gonna move on to another version of a angled square throw. Get the music back on. All right, let's move on to a split stance throw. All right, that'll do it for arm action specific drills. We're at a 0.7 one-day workload, average arm speed around 388 right now. So we're gonna move on to some roll-ins, see how far we can get. All right, moving on to our roll-ins. Big focus right here on these roll-ins today is gonna be making sure that I'm letting my front foot land and fully absorb force before we let the upper half rotate. Whether that happens or not, that's a different question. All right, that's 5 roll-ins with blue, so now we're gonna roll with 5 with red real quick. And then get on to some rotational movements. All right, that's 30 throws. We're at a one-day workload of 1.6, average arm speeds at 445. So now we're gonna move on to our rotational movements. First, 2 sets of the bow and arrow drill. One thing I have noticed over the course of the week is throughout my arm action drills, have a little bit lower of an arm slot, and the elbow stress really does tend to be a little bit lower. So as I'm going through these drills today, I'm focusing on keeping those ribs over my pelvis quite a bit more, and typically ending in a lower arm slot, hopefully some lower stress as well. Okay, after my 2 sets of the bow and arrow drill, we are at a 2.4 workload, average arm speed of 492. Those last couple were around 700, 750 in arm speed, around 25 to 30 Newton meters of stress. Arm slot's about 7 degrees lower than it normally is, and so is elbow torque. We're about 7 to 10 lower than what it normally is. So I think that's probably a good change to make. The question is, can I do it while I am not in a preset position to be able to hold that hinge longer? All right, we're at 42 throws, one-day workload of 3.3, average arm speed's up to 540. Those last 2 throws were about 870 and 890 on arm speed. Elbow torque is still a little bit lower arm slot is surprisingly staying down as I'm really trying to focus on keeping my hips behind my rib cage. So hopefully that stays long as we go into some step behinds as well. All right, that'll be it for the day. Overall one-day workload, I was at a 4.1. I was at a 4 right before that last throw. Average arm speed, 576. My last throw was up to 898 on arm speed, but overall solid day. Moving forward to workload getting a little bit higher so we can throw some baseballs. All right, Friday lift time. First superset. Again, we're gonna go 8 sets of 3. A1 is going to be a 3-point dumbbell row. A2A is going to be an adductor overcoming iso with a foam roller. And then A2B is going to be landmine windmills with more of a reactive emphasis. So as I get to the bottom, trying to transfer and move in the other direction as quickly as possible, it should create a much harder isometric contraction at the end of each rep. Moving on to set 5, so we got the landmine set up, ready to do our windmills. All right, moving on to superset B. We're gonna have 4 sets. Exercise number 1 is going to be a half kneeling landmine press. We're gonna do 8 reps on each side, and then we're also going to follow that up with a seated back to wall arm elevation. All right, quick little week 1 recap. Just finished the day 5 workout. Overall, pretty happy with the first week. Obviously, throwing workload was incredibly low as we're going to start rebuilding that. Didn't lift as much weight as I really wanted to, but again, trying to build the workload. This entire first 4 weeks is basically just going to be building as robust of a base as we possibly can, as I've gone an extended period of time without being in throwing shape specifically, but also workouts have been extremely sporadic over the last couple months. So again, just building up that base, really excited for it, and overall my body feels a lot better than I really expected it to after the end of week 1. So on to next Monday. We're going to be doing this Monday through Friday every week. If you along to track the progress, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on the Instagram, and watch what happens.